Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we will be playing the final part of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, covering Chapter 8, The Thousand Year Door. But before we get to all of that, how is everyone's week?
So I started playing Makai Toshi Saga, otherwise known as the Final Fantasy Legend, and it rules. It is, it's extremely bland and generic, but also really fucking weird at the same time.
RPG Limit Break featured it in their marathon a couple weeks ago, and I watched them do the speedrun, and it is the most, like, AAA RPG developers made an RPG Maker game in a weekend sort of vibe, and it's so cool.
What version were they playing? The Game Boy or Wonder Swan?
The Game Boy.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking about this game with Maddie Grace last night, and she was like, yeah, the Game Boy version is gorgeous in that rinky-dink Game Boy way, but the Wonder Swan version is gorgeous in the regular way.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful, but I am absolutely loving this game.
Yay!
And it's like supposed to be like 10 hours long, so I'll probably actually finish it.
Nice.
I also started playing Mario and Luigi Partners in Time because a while ago I played Super Mario RPG, and then I played Paper Mario, then I played Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, then I played Paper Mario again. Then I played Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, so like I gotta keep it going. So I
keep the ball rolling.
I started playing Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. And so far it's a little too talky, but it's fun. It's got great graphics, of course, and it's really cute. And when Mario says babies, it makes me happy.
It's a really cute voice clip.
Yeah, I was always under the impression that one sucked because they skipped it when they were remaking all of them. So that's the only thing I knew about it, is that they remade 1 and then remade 3 and didn't remake 2.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably just remade 1 because that was the first one, then remade 3 because that one was everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
And they were like scrambling to find a way to not die.
And then they died anyways.
Yeah.
For releasing a 3DS game that everyone has already played before after the Switch was out, is kind of not a good gambit for them to have made.
Yeah. My week's been a mix of good and bad. Bad isn't too bad, and the goods are pretty good, so I'm trying to stay on the positive side. The bad is I was making dinner the other day, and I was really proud of myself. I was doing spaghetti and meatballs, making the meatballs by hand from scratch. And the only breadcrumbs we had were panko, and I love panko. Panko's incredible. In many ways, the best breadcrumb, but not great necessarily for meatballs, because meatball, you want like you want fine breadcrumbs, so it like gets in there, doesn't clump or anything. So, instead, we had fresh bread, and so I just took the fresh bread and I turned it into breadcrumbs the old-fashioned way. I looked up a guide to do it, but it was really fun just like going through the process of doing the prep over the course of the day ahead of time, of baking the bread until it was completely dry, waiting for it to cool, grinding it up. Like it was a fun task. And then later in the making of the meatballs, I was shredding some Parmesan cheese, because I like hand shredding, especially like any cheese, but especially Parmesan, because if you get pre-shredded Parmesan, it doesn't melt into stuff as much, which isn't really a thing with meatballs, but I don't know. I just do it. It's how I usually do it.
So, fun fact about the Parmesan thing: if you look on the back in the ingredients, there will be there will be a line that says like starch added to prevent caking or whatever, and you want your Parmesan to not have that, and then that's how you can melt it into Parmesan crisps and all of those things. The potato starch keeps it separate. When I was on keto, I ate Parmesan crisps as just like
Parmesan
chips.
crisps are great. Yeah, I did the same thing when I was briefly on keto.
Yeah, and so I had to look up because I would just bought some from like Walmart or whatever, and I put it in the microwave and nothing happened, and I was freaking out. Like, no, this should work, but it's because it has the potato in it.
Yeah. I didn't know they sold some without the starch, so that's a good thing I could note down and look for. And can save me from what happened in this case, which I was shredding the cheese, and then I wasn't careful with the angle of my hand, and
Oh
it
no!
wasn't just cheese that got shredded, and I lost a
Oh
small bit of my finger skin.
No.
So now I have a bandage on my thumb, and like on the one hand I'm like, oh, it's not that bad, but also the last time something like this happened, it got like slightly infected and it was just a whole fucking nightmare. And so I'm trying not to think about that. I'm trying to just hope this will be fine. I'm trying to not do anything too hand intensive if I can avoid it, because I don't especially like cooking or doing dishes, because I don't want this to get infected. um so yeah, that sucks. But on the good side of things, I managed to break through writer's block I was dealing with. I've gotten a lot of writing done recently, and I'm really happy with it. I've had some very good responses on the whole that make me nothing. True. Listen, if you're someone out there and you're a listener and you read fan fiction, I'm just going to tell you right now. Please comment when you read a fanfic, and please, in your comment, like any comment is good, but what is so much better than just getting like, "Oh, this was really good," or "I loved this." Like that's fine. But like actually like quoting a passage and saying what you liked about it, or going into depth about like what you thought or like what you're theorizing, anything like that, that is like nirvana. That to an author is like it's pure serotonin, and it helps with writing so much. Just friendly advice for readers out there. If you're following a writer and you want them to write more often, you will have the ability to help. You do. I swear.
Yeah.
So that's been good. And then a friend of mine, we finished because we've been watching through Fantasy High junior year, and that's now wrapped up. I have some complaints with how it wrapped up, but on the whole, it was very extremely strong season. Looking forward to the absolute insanity of Never Stop Blowing Up the next season,
Oh, I'm
which
so excited for that.
it looks so incredibly weird and wonderful.
Of
Uh,
all seasons to be Jake Wysocki's
of
debut
course,
in Dimension
of
20,
course.
it has to be Never Stop Blowing Up.
hmm But we stopped. We finished that, and so we finally got to something that's been on the list for ages, because it's a show that my friend has seen and loved, was watching as it came out, and I missed the boat on. And so getting to go through it with someone who adores it is always like the best experience for me of going through
Mhm.
something I haven't seen. And that is a show from Disney called Amphibia,
Love
which
Amphibia. So good.
yeah. Yeah, I've only seen season one and a little bit of the start of season two. I from my first chunk of episodes just immediately head over heels with the show. I adore it, and it's just only getting better. It's hitting a beautiful sweet spot I haven't found with a lot of other series of this era, this beautiful era of animation we've been in for a while, where a lot of shows will either fall into the camp of like, this is extremely well made, but it's not for me. And I don't
Mhm.
mean that as like I don't like it. It's just like sometimes they'll be firing on all cylinders and doing something incredible, and I'll be like, okay, but I'm not getting anything out of this because I don't enjoy this sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then other things are just so purely made for me on like a base level that I can't really. I have a hard time forming critical thought, because all I can think while I'm watching it is I love this over and over again.
Mhm.
And Amphibia is in a really beautiful place where it does things that in other shows I would be like, you shouldn't be doing this. But they've sold me so much on the characters and the voice acting and the animation. Like everything is just, it's making me like it anyway. It is actively making me root for it, even when it does things that I wouldn't necessarily think I would enjoy, which I think
Mhm.
is a great mark of success when it comes to writing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Also, goddamn, Anne is base. I swear, Anne, the main character, it is so has strong Mariner from Lower Decks energy. Like
Mhm.
this girl is gonna become a nightmare when she grows up.
Mhm. She's
Anyway,
fantastic. Yeah,
she
Amphibia
is.
has the perfect balance, like even more than uh something like Adventure Time, of the episodes are silly and don't have anything to do with each other, but
hmm
they there's still like a season long like mystery, but it's literally not important. But like that's the whole thing. It hits it perfectly, exactly like Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls did the
Agreed.
same thing, where like if you were paying attention, there was a dude in the background of every shot up until he revealed himself in episode 5 or whatever. And there's a lot of stuff like that. And Amphibia is hitting all of those exactly, but has uh a lot more of the like kooky wacky watch with your 5-year old humor in it, which
Yes.
is very good.
The sense of humor of the show is so perfectly on point for me. Like it's finely tuned in a way I love. And while I 100% agree with what you're saying, also though the second I notice that Sasha is going to be in an episode, I lose my fucking mind.
Mhm.
She's horrible, she's a disaster, and I adore her. Someone help this girl.
Yeah, it's very good. Big recommend from me. You know what else is a big recommend for me?
Paper Mario Thousand Year Door?
No, I haven't gone yet.
Oh, you have it. I got you this
Apologist
time.
Ace Attorney.
Yes! My shit! That's my shit!
Yeah. I don't know why the vibes that I got from being outside of the fandom when it came out was that, oh, this is the bad one. Only play the first
Yes.
3.
Probably
I-
because I had said it's not really my thing, and sometimes you hear my opinion and you're like, that's probably what most people think.
No, I'm talking about back in like high school.
Okay.
Oh, I here's the thing. I got into Ace Attorney around when this game came out. 100%. That is what people were saying, and I've been
Really?
saying this entire time that they're wrong. This is the best Ace Attorney game. It is
It's
well, it's not perfect, but it's immaculate.
yeah, it's so good. Like in the trilogy, the Phoenix Wright trilogy, case 3 is always not important. It's always just, hey, we're going to have a clown now. This is the clown episode. We're just going to do some clowning, and then we'll get back to like important, cool stuff after this.
I would say structurally, the case 3 is always very important for how it establishes and develops the character of the prosecutor. But you're
Agreed.
correct that for the overall plot, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I could go on a 2-hour rant on why the filler case, is structurally extremely important for the pacing. Yeah. You need a down moment. You need time to set up what the status quo is of this game. What are things like when the stakes aren't to 11, so that when the stakes do get to 11, it feels important. But yeah, a lot of the filler cases have also, just by coincidence, fucking sucked.
Yeah,
and had clowns.
Had clowns.
And so for Apollo Justice, they instead kind of just make every case important and still manage to make Gavin a very good character, or the Gavins both very good characters, and all of these things. And it's just like, oh, this game is a mystery novel. The rest of them have been 4 episodes of a mystery television show, but this one was a mystery novel. Every clue was important. Everything was important. And then at the end, when they reveal their hand, and I'm like, oh my god! And like a good Sherlock Holmes story specifically. Somebody said this. That's why I'm saying Sherlock Holmes specifically is when you get to the end of it, you think, why didn't I notice that? All of those clues were there. Why didn't I put it together? Sherlock, you're awesome. And it's not like, oh, here's a reveal out of nowhere and surprise, it was aliens or whatever. Like, it's, you always want to be able to think you could have figured it out, even though you didn't figure it out. And the entire case 4 was just, why didn't I figure that out? Why didn't I notice this? The bracelet is so important. Why did I not see it? Why did I not see it? It's in that person's like shocked face, which they do constantly. Why didn't I see it? I'm stupid. This game is awesome. It's so good.
It's so good. It's okay. Also, this is a game that like I came back to after every time I go through it again, I find more stuff to love. And one of the things is my last couple replays, I have so much more appreciation for actually the second case, Turnabout Corner, because that's also kind of a more low key case, because the first case is so 211 best
Mhm.
first case of the series.
Mhm.
Holy shit! Like everything insane is happening. But like the Turnabout Corner goes into some really interesting places, just with like playing with like themes and concepts the series doesn't usually get into.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know. It's just fun. And I love the fact that Apollo, every single defendant he has in his first game, none of them are helpful to a
Oh,
level that Phoenix has probably never, I don't think has ever had. None of
no.
them talk to him. Or if
The
they do, they're just belligerent.
Yeah, this whole game is like, oh yeah, you don't. No one's going to tell you what actually happened. Every single person is going to be like, haha, I can't tell you that. And that,
To be fair to Machi Tobaye, he didn't, it was pretending not to know English.
yes, but specifically, Shoddy Smith,
Yes,
or
that
that's
bitch.
that's still a spoiler because he's the victim in the first one. Whatever. One of the guys doesn't ever. He literally is like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not going to tell you anything." And so it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, cool, great." But yeah,
Uh,
it
I
was
love it.
fantastic. I was starting the case 4 and it was so good and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going to finish this tonight." But there's a lot of case 4
There's
and
so much case
I
for.
I had to finish it the next night, but it was very very good. So then now having no more DS Phoenix Wrights I can put on my phone to read all the time. I started playing Digimon World DS, which so far is a really good Digimon story game. It's the first one, well, maybe second one if you count Digimon World 3, which has a lot of the same DNA. But that you can tell they're just trying to figure stuff out before they uh go on to make much better ones. But the frustrating thing about it that I'm having to deal with is the default text is too slow, so you have to hold down the button to make the text boxes go fast, and there's no option to just make it go fast all the time. So you're constantly having to hold down A and hold and then press A and then hold down A and then press A, etc., etc. Constantly hate it. But then the most frustrating thing is it is only like it doesn't commit to being either a touchscreen game or a left hand only game, but it's kind of both, and it's frustrating. So to progress text, you can tap on the screen, but you cannot tap on the screen to walk around. Cool, no problem. In battle, you can press the L button to be your accept button, so that you can go through battle with just left hand only, which is awesome. But out of battle, L doesn't work as A. You have to press the A button, and so it's like if I'm in a cutscene or I'm in battle, it's a left hand friendly game and I can just play it in one hand on my phone. But walking around and doing all of the dungeons, the most frustrating part, I have to use two hands, and it makes me so mad that it doesn't just go all the way. And most menus are touch based, but not all of them. And it's just like it's inconsistent on its one handed accessibility, and it makes me so angry. But other than that, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm excited that I get to uh, play the game that eventually becomes Cyber Sleuth, which is one of my favorite Shin Megami Tensei games. You know, a game that is absolutely not one hand friendly.
Definitely not.
Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. So let's listen to some of our last Yoko Shimomura music, and then we'll talk about what happens this week.
The music is by Yoshito Hirano and Yuka
Oh,
Tsuchiyoko.
I was in Live Alive Land, yeah. So ignore what I just said.
Always do. Mario and friends head towards the teleporter room, but the door is locked. In fact, all the doors in the corridors are locked, except the one leading to Tech's chamber. So they go there. Tech activates and greets Mario. It says most of its data was erased and its main power was shut down. It's now running on backup power with only cached memory. It says it brought Mario here to tell him that Peach is no longer here. She is with Grotus in the Palace of Shadow. Tech says its backup power is failing, but it will redirect power to activate the teleporter. When the power is gone, Tech will cease to exist, but it is glad to do this for Peach's sake, because before it met her, it knew nothing of love. Tech asks Mario to save Princess Peach and tell her thank you. Tech shuts down. It's sad.
It is a lot sadder than I remembered it being.
And it's not going to be weirdly reversed and undermined later.
Oh, definitely not.
Mario and friends teleport back to Rogueport and are greeted by Professor Frankly as soon as they step outside of the secret teleporter room. Pretty weird that Frankly just happened to be right there. I'm sure it's normal. Our heroes tell Frankly that they got the crystal star, but Peach was gone. Frankly says he smelled rank air and went to investigate the Thousand-Year Door. He saw a suspicious fellow in a cape go through the door with Princess Peach. But the door shouldn't have been able to open without the crystal stars. I'm sure it's normal. We've got to head to the Thousand-Year Door and save Peach. Mario heads to the Thousand-Year Door where Frankly is waiting. He says the bad guys must have found another way to open the door. Mario holds the crystal stars in front of the door and it opens. Frankly says at long last the door to the Palace of Shadow has opened. Mario must enter and save the princess and the world. Chapter 8, The Thousand-Year Door. Mario and friends head through the door and find themselves in a damn Dracula-looking castle. After a lot of good dungeoneering, Mario and friends arrive in the palace garden, which contains no plants, but does contain an underground tower in a giant cavern. But before entering the tower, there's more dungeoneering to do in another wing of the Dracula castle to the east. Mario and friends head down a long series of hallways and run into a giant dragon. It's Gloomtail, aka Hooktail's older brother. Gloomtail attacks. Boss battle. After they kill him, Gloomtail barfs up a treasure chest containing a star-shaped stone key. Mario returns to the garden and enters the tower, which has a bunch of chambers containing riddles which Mario must solve in order to acquire keys, which are not stone and star-shaped, but regular. At the top of the tower, Mario finds a model of a star system with a slot for the star key. He inserts the star key, then 8 pillars with keyholes appear. After inserting all the keys into the pillars from the riddles, the star system model begins rotating, and a path opens in the east wing of the palace. Mario and friends head towards the east wing, but are stopped by Beldam, Marilyn, and Professor Frankly? Beldam thanks Mario for opening the door for them and reveals that the Frankly who instructed them to open the door was Dupless in disguise. The real Frankly is sleeping off a nasty bump to the head in a closet somewhere. The Shadow Sirens attack! Boss battle! After kicking the Shadow Sirens' asses, Mario and friends continue into the east wing of the palace. After a lot more dungeoneering, they find the throne room, where Grotus is waiting for them. He introduces himself as the supreme leader of the secret society of X-Nauts, and thanks Mario for gathering the 7 crystal stars and opening the Thousand-Year Door. And for some reason, my vague memory of having known some stuff about this game, I was under the impression for like many years that the X-Nauts were aliens. Maybe I was conflating it with Partners in Time, but no, they're a secret society. Apparently.
Well, you could. It's ambiguous because they say they're a secret society, but like, what the fuck is going? Like, so Grotus is clearly either a cyborg or an android. He's part computer, but the rest of them, like, what's going on under their clothes? Are they humans like Mario and Peach? If so, that's weird. There aren't a lot of humans in the Mushroom Kingdom that we've seen. Or I see why people say that, like, it's a fan theory that they're aliens, and it's because what the fuck else would they be? It's a little confusing. I mean, they could just be like Koopas and stuff. I say because they're one of the only species in the Mario world that has 2 arms and 2 legs. But I don't know. We don't know.
There's lots of types of people in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh, there's also Dugans and Toads. They could be Dugans and Toads. It'd be really funny if you took off Lord Crumb's mask and it turns out he was a toad this whole time.
um,
Grotus fight.
yes, Grotus reveals that Mario played into his hand all along, and now he will rule the world. Typical villain stuff. Grotus attacks. Boss battle. Mario and friends manage to defeat Grotus, but he says he planned for this possibility. He reveals that Peach is held hostage in a force field and threatens to harm her if Mario and friends continue to fight. He starts blasting Mario with spells, but then Bowser falls through the ceiling and lands right on Grotus. Cammy flies down too, and it's like, holy shit, it's Mario.
And Peach.
And Peach. Bowser and Cammy attack. Boss battle. Because Grotus had been blasting Mario with spells, I was kind of expecting to like enter this battle with 1 HP or something. But that doesn't happen. You're just in the state you were at the end of the Grotus fight.
Which is why the old tip I got from an issue of Nintendo Power is one I always employ when I get to this point, which is to make sure I go into the Grotus fight with enough star points that beating him will level me up, giving me a full heal.
Nice. Yeah, because the Bowser fight's pretty serious.
It's not. He's no pushover.
Yeah, for him being a bumbling idiot for this entire game, and he literally gets stymied by like a penguin and shit. I thought this was going to be a joke battle. Like, oh, we beat you last game, Bowser. We're better than you now. You kind of are not the focus here. We have to go fight evil, blah blah blah. But no, he's really fucking hard.
He's really hard. He also has a great line before the fight where he's like, "You can't have a finale to one of your adventures without me."
Mario defeats Bowser as usual, but sees Grotus retreating through a secret door behind the throne, pulling Peach along with him. Mario pursues Grotus to a chamber containing a coffin, and Peach is on the ground in front of it. Grotus says the coffin holds the spirit of the ancient demon, which will possess Peach's body and be reborn. Grotus calls forth the Shadow Queen. The coffin
and the
opens.
coolest cutscene ever happens.
Yes! The coffin opens and the shadowy, ghostly form of the demon emerges. We might think, she looks a little bit like the Shadow Sirens. That's interesting. We might think that.
Maybe.
Darkness falls over Rogueport and the surrounding lands. The Shadow Queen asks who has called her and where the vessel is. Grotus says he called her and indicates Peach as the vessel. The Shadow Queen descends on Peach, who transforms into a hot goth GF. She says she will learn to control this body and regain her full power soon enough. Grotus commands goth Peach to destroy Mario and friends, but she's like, who the fuck are you? And fucking kills him. She zaps his head clean off his body, then zaps his head away, and he's definitely dead.
Definitely.
The Shadow Sirens arrive. Beldam says the Shadow Queen has finally returned to them, and reveals that she's the one who is truly responsible for calling the Shadow Queen back. She searched for a maiden who could act as a vessel and spread the rumor of the great treasure behind the thousand-year door so the crystal stars would be gathered and the door would be opened. It's at this point you may realize that Beldam must have been the mysterious merchant who gave Princess Peach the treasure map at the beginning of the game, and that the Shadow Sirens, not counting Dupless, are lesser ancient demons who were servants of the Shadow Queen before she was sealed away. You'd think Vivian would have mentioned all that at some point.
But you'd think my only thought can be it's possible Beldam is the only one old enough to have been around for all that shit, and that Marilyn and Vivian are younger and didn't get told anything.
Quite possible. Also, maybe Vivian was like, would have been like, "Oh, you didn't know all
you
that?"
never asked.
Yeah. I don't want to sound mean to Vivian. This is true of like all the player characters. She's not that smart.
Yeah, when I got to this scene and the reveal happened, I was like, "Damn it! Why did I use Bobbery for the final fight just a second ago? I want Vivian in this scene."
Goth Peach says Mario and friends appear useful and gives them the chance to become her servants, which can lead to a non-standard game over and the storyline of very real video game Paper Mario Builders if you say yes. But Mario says no. Goth Peach attacks, and Mario and friends have no choice but to fight. Boss battle!
Yeah, so this boss battle is really freaking hard.
Yeah.
Like every other boss battle whose gimmick is I have little schmucks that will fuck you up if you don't stop them. Um, those schmucks aren't that hard, or they take several turns to come back. It's every freaking turn with her. She's just here's some extra fucking stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's real hard, and I almost die, but then thankfully,
Yeah. I will say
because I
the
just realized I was early.
yeah, same. I was going to say in regards to that, I had to put my partner, in this case Gumbella, on hand duty, as I call it, where I had a bunch of like items that did enough damage to everyone. So it was just her task was to do the item that would kill the hands that turn, so Mario could focus on Shadow Queen.
But that doesn't happen yet.
Yes. Mario and friends manage to stand their own against Goth Peach, who says this body is hindering her, and she will take her true form. The form of the Shadow Queen wraps around Goth Peach's body, and we quickly find that she's invulnerable to all attacks. Uh-oh, is this the end for Mario and friends? But then the crystal stars glow and disappear. They reappear in the Rogueport Square and shoot off to all the places Mario visited on his journey. The friends Mario made in each of these locations see their respective stars and realize Mario and friends must be in trouble, and they all send their thoughts and prayers. Turns out, thoughts and prayers work. Mario and friends can hear the voices of their friends echoing through the chamber, and their spirit bomb power reduces the Shadow Queen's power. The spirit of regular non-Goth Peach appears momentarily to give Mario the last of her power and tell him not to give up. She disappears. The Shadow Queen attacks! Final boss battle! And this is the hard one.
Yes.
Yeah. I almost honestly went through that second phase when you're actually doing the fight. I almost went through it without Mario taking any damage, up until one of my many badges that make it so attacks have a chance not to hit me didn't go off, and the attack she did killed Mario instantly, and I had a life shroom. So technically speaking, my life was never anything lower than 10 or higher than 0 for that entire second phase of the fight. Technically.
Yeah. She's real freaking hard. Cause like, again, every boss that's had mooks, the mooks will do big damage, but the guy won't do big damage. So you can get rid of the mooks, and then you can focus on the guy, and like that's how you get through the fight. But the mooks hit for 7, and she can hit for 7 fucking teen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's bullshit.
It's super bullshit.
After the battle, the Shadow Queen disappears and Peach falls to the floor, de-gothed. The Shadow Sirens retreat. Mario and friends rush to Peach's side and find she's okay. Peach apologizes for all the trouble and thanks our heroes for saving her. The real Frankly runs in and gets updated on the plot. He reveals that he found a fancy treasure chest on the way. There really was a legendary treasure, but he's not going to open the chest now for some reason. He's going to lug the whole thing out of the palace without even looking inside. Later, all of Mario's friends are gathered in Rogueport Harbor to say goodbye to him and Peach and Toadsworth, I guess. When it's Vivian's turn to say goodbye, she comes close to confessing her love for Mario, but just says that he and Peach make a good couple. Mario, Peach, and Toadsworth board the ship and sail back to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Wait, Vivian did that for you?
Yes.
Vivian
Goombella
does.
did.
They
Goombella
both
did
do
that
it.
for me.
They both
Goombella
do
does
it.
that later.
Well,
Goombella does it later. Okay.
Goombella does it later, and also hers is much more ambiguous. It's just a. Oh, I had to tell you, but whatever, it's fine.
And I'm like, why didn't you just hit backspace, Goombella? Because it's in the email.
Yes.
Man, what if there was an affection point system?
Right. That's what I was so confused. I was like, at what point would I have gotten different affection points for all of Mario's girlfriends in this game?
That
Mario
just
has
reminds
a lot of
me.
girlfriends in this game.
That just reminds me of playing through Tales of Symphonia and having a guide up to look at like the fucking invisible affection tracking BS that happens in that game that the game gives you no indication is happening.
We cut to Mario's house, where Mario has just finished telling Luigi all about his adventure. And apparently Luigi has not fallen asleep during Mario talking about his adventure, so Luigi is more polite than Mario. He gets an email from Goombella, who says she's working with Professor Frankly to learn Rogueport's lore. She says he's not going to believe what was in the chest Frankly found. It's a secret! Also, during her research, she ended up running into their old friends. Goops is living in Petalburg peacefully and wants to become the mayor. Flurries return to the stage, performing in a play based on their adventure. Duplis is playing the role of Mario, so that's weird. Our Yoshi friend is fighting in the Glitz Pit under the name the Great Gonzalez Jr. Vivian has reconciled with her sisters. Goombella says that she thinks that now that the Shadow Queen has been defeated, Beldum won't be so into evil anymore. Beldum also
Okay, but I
promised
don't
Goombella...
care. Oh, go ahead.
Beldum also promised Goombella that she would never be mean to Vivian again. Let's hope. Let's hope.
Let's hope the transphobic relative stops being transphobic, I say, with no hope inside my body.
Bobbery is sailing with Cortez, and everyone in Keelhaul Key is doing well. Miss Mouse is still running the badge shop by day and hunting for rare badges by night. Oh, also turns out Grotus and Lord Crump are still alive? Goombella thinks they've probably chilled out and won't cause much trouble anymore, especially since Grotus is just ahead now. It's a bit odd to establish that they're both alive here, but it paves the way for the characters' many future appearances in Mario games. And, also, Tech is somehow still alive. Weird.
I mean, there could be a backup. He's a computer.
Yeah.
The worst part about Tech dying twice and then not dying both times is this last one wasn't even a like Final Fantasy IV reveal where it's like, oh no, hey look, that he was alive this whole time and he came in clutch and helped you in your time of need. It's just a line in Goombella's email where you don't even, it doesn't even cut to show Tech or anything. It just shows the moon. It's very, it is like the least
I had kidded
satisfying.
She'd be lying. She could just be like trying to make Mario feel better. Like he's never gonna come check.
Goombella also comes close to confessing her love for Mario, but just says to tell Peach hi for her. End of email. Peach and Toadsworth arrive at Mario's house. Toadsworth found a treasure map. Peach insists on Mario coming along for another adventure. What could possibly go wrong?
Whackity schmackity.
The end.
And unlike the first game, you can then continue your save file and do more things, which I love.
Yes, after the credits, you can load your save file, and it's like, and the ship arrives in Rogueport, and the guy's like, "Why are you coming back to Rogueport?" But then Goombella's there, and she's like, "Yeah, I gathered up all our friends. Let's go."
And then you can do all of the troubles.
All of them.
All of them. There are actually, I think, either 3 new ones from when you start Chapter 8 or 3 new ones after you beat the game. I'm not sure which one. I didn't go into the 1,000-year door and then go back and check.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot of plot momentum when you finally open the name of the game, the 1,000-year door.
Yeah.
When you finally open the Paper Mario.
So yeah, let's listen to some more music that is not by Yoko Shimomura, and then we'll talk about our memorable moments.
I was starting to say earlier, and I'll say it now. The bit with the crystal stars all going to all the places we've been throughout the game, and those people gathering around to like send their wishes to Mario. Genuinely, I don't know why it makes me tear up. Like, there's just something about the music and the sentiment of it. It almost... I feel bad comparing it to this because I don't think it is as emotionally affecting, but it reminds me of the scene in Into the Spider-Verse where the whole city mourns. without getting more specific. Like, it's this idea of just like, oh wow, we really have touched all these characters' lives. I really enjoy that sort of thing. I do feel like the last star we got should have gone to Rogueport, and the citizens of Rogueport should have been the one to talk to that one, because that one was in Rogueport to start with, and it was never in Far Outpost, but whatever. And I'm more connected to the characters of Rogueport than I am to those Bob-Bombs, but okay.
Those Bob-Bombs are kind of jerks.
They're kind of jerks.
Made us go all around the world.
But the Bob-Bombs have the best mantra that they pray up to Mario, because it's blow 'em up, shaboomy, and it's so good. So yeah, I'm okay with that one.
I found a bunch of just so I had never. So I can't remember. I think we talked about this previously a little bit. There's like a silly side thing where there's a green mouse guy named Lumpy who wants you to invest money so he can go to dry desert to dig for oil. And if you do that, depending on how much you invest, you get different amounts of money later in the game. I didn't realize you could talk to him after that. I don't know if it's immediately after or if you have to wait a chapter or two or something. But I talked to him as I was going around to talk to everyone before I went into the Thousand-Year Door. And he offers to share the journal of his entire journey going to dig oil, and it's in 7 parts. And I love this game so much. There's all this small, little, completely pointless side content that I adore. And in this case, so many characters from the first game make cameos in his story. Like, he runs into Moustafa, and, Buzzar the Buzzard, optional boss from Chapter 2 of the first game, and Colorado, and it's this, like, just really fun fan servicey thing, and it ends with him just being like, yeah, and ultimately I just realized I didn't want to just hoard all this money for myself, so I've been spreading it around to everyone who helped me on my journey. And I don't know, I think that's, like, makes the idea that I donated to someone getting oil, makes me feel better that he's not being a capitalist with it. Also, the money you invest, it turns out, didn't materially help him in any way, because all the things he bought with your money got stolen immediately. So the fact that he actually pays you back, he didn't need to do that.
That's fantastic. So, the final boss is really hard, right? And takes forever to beat. And I just realized this might be because I had to use cheat codes to beat it. Because on my 5th try, it was 3 a.m. and so I put on cheat codes to finish it. But does the final boss only give 1 star point?
Yes.
Or is that because? Okay, I didn't know if that was like a joke thing that they do, because they do things like that, or if it was the fact that I had 999 health.
I mean, I think it's less of a joke thing, and it's more it's the end of the game, so there's no reason for it to bestow you star points, but the game, mechanically, if a battle doesn't give you star points normally, you do get 1 star point, unlike the first game, where you can finish a battle with no star points. So I think it's just a weird consequence of how they designed the game.
Okay. But I still thought it was hilarious. It's like, alright, you did it. The hardest fight you've ever done. You get 1 experience point. Around that time, and before the final boss, when Cammy is just electrocuting you over and over again, I pressed the active block every single time in the cutscene.
Amazing.
I didn't even notice it until then the battle starts. I'm like, I wasn't in a battle for all of
that. Also, there are 2 troubles that pop up between Chapter 7 and 8 that I have to mention because they're hilarious. By hilarious, one of them is another General White joke. One of them is Gold Bomb wants you to deliver something to General White, and you go back to his house, and the guy's like, oh yeah, he went to go to this place, and you go there, and they're like, oh, he went to this other place, actually. And you have to, it's shorter than the first one, but they do it again, and even my patience is tested. And another one, there's a fun one where there's a trouble from a Luigi super fan in Poshley Heights who really wants to see Luigi and give him a cake. And so what you need to do is in Posh, if you hadn't gotten already, this is your opportunity to go get it. I brought up before, there's a badge in Poshley Sanctum that turns your colors Luigi. So if you have that badge and only that badge, it doesn't work if you have that and the Wario one to be Waluigi. You have to only be Luigi. If you're wearing Luigi colors and talk to her, she's like, oh my god, it's the real Luigi. Oh, here's this cake. And she's so excited. And she's loving it so much. And then the actual Luigi shows up, and he sees an imposter and tries to call the police on him. It's so good. It's so ridiculous. I feel so bad for Luigi.
So, speaking of Luigi, in the Spirit Bomb cutscene, there are two people who have never called Mario by his name, who learn his name, and then in their prayers, they say the regular name anyways. So Rockhawk is like, your name is Mario? No, you're always Gonzalez. And so in his, there's text boxes all over the screen while the prayers are coming in. You see him like, kick his ass Gonzalez or whatever it says. And then the other one is the Penguin Detective. It's all the Bob-ombs in Poshley Heights are like, oh, this must be Mario. He's like, who's Mario? I only know Luigi. I'm like, no, his name is Mario. And then in his, this is like, Luigi, you can do it.
It's a good joke. Speaking of Luigi, I finally was able to get and read the final volume of Super Luigi, which is twice the cost of all the previous volumes of Super Luigi, which reveals the incredible twist to Luigi's story he was doing this whole time that he doesn't mention if you talk to him because he completely glosses over. And I can kind of understand why. He turned up to the final battle against the Chestnut King to save Princess Eclair, and then it turned out that the Chestnut King is her boyfriend, and he had been cursed into a monstrous form by the dude who gave Luigi this quest in the first place, and then he shows up to reveal himself as the real villain, and then they kicked his ass and stuff, and then Princess Eclair was just happy with the Chestnut King, and Luigi was like, but I've been pining for you this whole time. And I don't know, that's just a fun, silly thing.
Another fun, silly thing is when the Vivian sisters show up with Dupless. They keep calling him Freakin' a Sheet, and every time they do it, he gets one of those tiny whisper, like, aside text boxes. It's like, my name is actually Dupless, but...
He spent a whole chapter hiding his name, and now he's really annoyed that no one's using it. It's funny. It's also just like, wow, just Beldam is just a horrible abuser.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a toxic, horrible person. Bernard, you got Mimimus?
I really like the sequence of boss fights at the end, and I also really like the final dungeon, even though I did get stuck at one point, I think.
Oh, there's a couple of points where getting stuck is understandable, but yeah, it's a really good final dungeon, and that sequence of boss fights is great. Thing I learned, I didn't really employ in this, but fun fact I never knew, is that when targeting Grotus in his fight with him, you can instead target his staff, which still hurts him, and it makes whatever he's going to do with the staff next not happen. It turns off his next attack, basically.
Neat.
Which, like... That's very useful, because a lot of things he does with that staff are extremely annoying.
Yes.
Yeah, I also really, really liked the final dungeon. The only time I got stuck, I didn't have to look it up, thankfully. I did eventually accidentally figure it out. But it's the one with the Koops blocks, where you have to hit it and it makes the big block go up and down. And I didn't know what they were asking me to figure out, which is the worst part of a puzzle that you can't figure out, is you don't even know what you're not figuring out. And so I was like, oh, do I need to get all of them up? Is there a way that I can get the green one back up, because that's the one that blocks your spot? Is there a way for me to get that one back up, and I can go down and there will be like a switch or something that I can do? Like, what am I supposed to do? But you just do the thing you always do, where you just shoot coops into it and ride one down like an elevator, and then there's a place you can walk off to. I was thinking entirely too hard.
You can also get that if you stand on it and then hit it and rise up with it.
But yeah, it was a very, very good dungeon. I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
The only thing that sucks, it doesn't actually suck, but I got a game over at one point. I got a lot of game overs this week. I think I'm under. I think I missed an important NPC because I have like 13 or 14 shine sprites, and shine sprite homie is like, I can't upgrade your people, so there's probably somebody that can upgrade my people, so I
Oh.
probably am literally half prepared.
Oh. Yeah, so he tells you at one point he's outside of his house and
uh,
he says like he saw a dream or something where he only gives you the line of dialogue once and then goes back inside his house, so you have that one time to do it before you
uh,
forget. He tells you have to go back to the room in the first
yeah,
chapter in Hooked.
I got the up arrow,
Okay,
but
you got to talk to him. You have to
I
talk to him behind his counter, and
God damn
he
it.
yeah.
I,
Here's the thing: it's like in the first game. You got to talk to him behind the counter, not in front of the counter, and that gets him to do the thing you need.
well, yeah, no wonder it was really hard and I couldn't fucking win.
Oh my
Um,
god! Yeah, you're missing all the best moves.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you because you missed it. Goombella's second upgrade gives her access to a move which gives Mario an extra turn. So you basically get two Mario turns instead of a Mario and a partner turn.
Oh,
And if you're
wow.
doing a good Mario build, that's the best move in the game.
Yeah. Well, sucks to be me, but oh yeah, so one of the times that I game over this week, uh I go and I fight Gloomtail and I get the thingy and I come back and I heal up at the end block and I save at the thingy, and then I go into the tower and I solve all of the puzzles and get open the staircase thing, and then I go down and I'm like, okay, I want to save, but just in case I die a lot, I want to get uh, the heal block before I go save, so that I can be fully saved or fully healed up whenever I die, and I can just run back to it and not have to remember to do that later. So I walk that way, which initiates the fight with Beldam and her sisters. And I was not prepared for that. So I died and then had to go and do all of those puzzles again. Once you know the answers, it doesn't take very long, but it still was the worst. Like, oh, there's the save point. I don't need it. I'm going to go this way. And I got punished immediately.
Oof.
I did everything right.
Yeah, you always do. But yeah, this game was awesome. It definitely is as good as everyone has been telling me it has been ever since the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
And I am glad that it got remade, but I am burnt out on Paper Mario, so I will not be immediately replaying the remake, though it does look fantastic and I want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Just not right now.
Yeah, I think my opinion has always been, and it's kind of solidified by playing through it again, both games back to back for the podcast like this, is I'm not going to say either game is better or worse necessarily, but Thousand Year Door is more experimental and ambitious. It
Hmm.
is trying to do a lot of stuff, and it really comes down to whether you value more that sort of ambition and that taking a bunch of weird chances and doing a bunch of weird things, even if some of it, in some case, a lot of it is not going to really stick for you personally, or if you
Hmm.
prefer a game that is just more solid. Like the first game is just more solid.
Yeah. One thing that reminded me, speaking of ambition and trying a bunch of different things, I absolutely love that each character, their active commands are variations on each other that like build and build the better the skill gets. Like in Vivian, her basic attack is going to lead up, and then you have to like quick draw, press the right button. And then her medium one is you're going to see a series of five or six buttons, and you have to press them in the right order fairly quickly. And then the last one is okay, there's going to be a build up, and then you have to quick draw 5 buttons in a row, and everybody's is like that. Like the thing that you do on the controller is related for all of their stuff, and it is really cool
That
gameplay
is so
wise.
cool. Yeah.
The only one I don't like is Yoshi because his is the R button, which is just not a fun button to mash, and you have to mash his buttons a lot. And I don't want
Yeah,
to
it sucks because it's
mash
a
his
really
shoulder.
useful, it's a really powerful ability, but
Hmm.
uh yeah, kind of on that same kind of track. I really love that they made it so in the first Paper Mario, the star moves, the special moves, don't do like you just do it and it does a thing and you don't have
Hmm.
there's no input on your part. And in this game they make them all have some sort of input, like there's things that you can succeed or fail at, but they're just very different weird versions. And like the most normal one is the most powerful one, which is the last one you get, Supernova, which is just mash the A button as hard as possible.
Uh-huh.
And I enjoy that because it feels like the cheaper ones, they're effective both because they don't take as much star power, but also because like if you do it well, you get a really good thing, but you have to perform well. It has a higher skill ceiling,
Hmm.
and the stronger ones, later ones, are much easier to do comparatively.
Uh-huh. Um, but one thing I do want to say, speaking about those star things, is there's no need to have the poison mushrooms in the heal spell. Like I know you want it. It's already hard because you already have to time it to hit it, and uh, spending sometimes your last star power on something that you absolutely need, or you will die on the next turn, and you have no items. So you go to heal, and you get 3 poison mushrooms in a row, and then you get no healing for Mario. Feels really bad, and they don't need it. They also don't need poison mushrooms in the bingo. Like bingos are already so hard. Why make there be a chance of, oh, you'll almost never get one, and then when you do get one, there's a chance it'll just fuck you up, and it just feels bad, man.
Damn, that sounds like a skill issue.
It probably is.
Poison mushroom in the
I
bingo
understand.
is a bit much,
It
but
is a
also
bit
a
much.
skill issue.
Yeah.
It is literally because the third one, it is actually like you time it yourself, like it isn't random.
Yeah. The only thing about that one is it doesn't stop on the one you press
No,
like Super Mario 3, so it's a skill issue, but you have to get bingos often enough to be able to practice it, which it's random if you even get bingos. It's a very weird system, but
agreed. I don't think the game needs it. I enjoy it. I'm glad it's there, but your complaints are entirely justified, and I understand them. I just like that they're there anyway.
yeah. Related, I love the fact that they give you a clutch bingo at the beginning of the final fight. I hate that they
Agreed.
give you a clutch bingo on turn 3 of the final fight, where there's no way in hell that you have used any star points at that point.
Yeah,
You
that
you do not need it at that point. It's like, no, you should give
not
this to me at like turn 10 or something. Make my second
unless you know
bingo.
it's coming and you want to just immediately burn your star points because you know it's coming. But yeah, no, it could have been done later.
Yeah. Yeah. This game's good. I like
It's
it.
really good. I love it. It's a weird game. It's I adore like we're playing it because it was a runner up for me. Like it was this or Super Lesbian Animal RPG in my
Mhm.
initial auto buy RPG. And like the thing I said about that game was like I am more myself because I played that game. Like that
Mhm.
game embedded itself into my heart, and I don't think that's necessarily true for Thousand Year Door. Even though I've played it a dozen times, it was literally formative for me in some way playing it as like a teenager. But on some level, is just to me like one of those games that it will always stand in my heart as just I don't know if I would use the word best, but just it's it is foundational to me in a weird way. Like it is a game I will always look at and be fond of in a sense of the design philosophies throughout so much of this game are the sort of design and writing creative philosophies that I personally adore, that I want to carry into my own work.
Yeah. Um, so now that I have played the best one, as everyone calls it, I stand by my JRPG canon blog where I say that Sticker Star rules. So it rules in a completely different way, but it still rules, and you should go back and try it again if you hated it. Like if it's not being a letdown because you're expecting it to be a sequel to the Thousand Year Door, uh, it's a very good game, and I stand by it.
Man, I am looking at I'm on the Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door Wikipedia page,
Hmm.
and I expanded the thing for Mario role playing games, and there's a characters section where for Paper Mario they have pages for Vivian and Bobby under characters, and I'm like, who is Bobby? So I click on Bobby. Bobby's a character from Paper Mario the Origami King, and I'm like, oh, that's neat. But his design is literally just a bob-omb. The only
Yeah.
thing that distinguishes him is he doesn't have a fuse.
Yeah. That's because after this game, they were basically told by Nintendo that they weren't allowed to make original character designs for standard Mario character types. Like they couldn't make original Toads, they couldn't make original Koopas or Bob-ombs, etc., etc. If they
That's
wanted to
so
include them,
weird.
they had to make them the standard design with no deviation or very minimal deviation. Which, from what I remember hearing, I can't immediately pull a source for this. It was something to do with like marketing, like we want our brand recognition. We don't want to dilute the brand with some other company making Mario-esque characters that aren't quite the exact same design as all other Mario characters. Which, yeah, like I think that's corporate bullshit. And I hate it. And I felt like I was supposed to end that with like a oh I understand, but no, actually I don't. Sam, I respect your love for Sticker Star, but in its heart, it will always represent to me the downturn of one of my favorite franchises, and it will be a black lump of coal in my otherwise fairly optimistic heart until the day I die.
So, want to know something crazy about all of the things that you just said, leading into Sticker Star? So, uh, Nintendo's thing that they said, where nobody cares about the plot in a Mario game, and that they didn't like all of the different characters. They wanted to just see the regular characters, is because they did a focus group after Super Paper Mario came out, and they asked a lot of parents, what do you think about this game? And all of the parents were normies who thought that that was going to be a Mario run and jump game, and then it was this long ass action RPG. And they were like, my kids hated it. They just wanted to go and play a Mario game, and they had all of this other crap on it that they didn't care about, and all of these characters that were weird looking and they didn't really like. They just wanted the regular stuff, and they were, instead of being like, oh, they bought the wrong game for their kids, said, oh, nobody likes Paper Mario the way that we've been doing it. Let's stop and change it. And then you got Sticker Star that has basically no plot and is just a running and jumping game with a bunch of regular Mario
And I'm sure it's
characters.
good at it. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it is a good at what it does in the same way that I'm sure Banjo Kazooie Nut and Bolts is a fun vehicle game that is really good at what it's trying to do. I just hate that it exists.
Yeah. But yeah, Paper Mario rules. So
Yeah.
join us next season as we start playing Super Paper Mario. No.
I mean,
um
we could. I don't. God, I don't know if I want to replay Super Paper Mario.
I do, but I don't have it anymore, and I would
You know
need
what
to
I am
find a
excited to
copy.
play though?
Persona
Persona
3
3 Reload. I'm so excited to finally finish the third Persona 3. Also, it's really fitting considering I started on this podcast with Persona 2.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be awesome seeing you. You will have a weird frame of reference that most
Such a weird
modern
frame of
people
reference.
don't. Most modern people either played 4 Golden or 5 first, and worked their way
Hmm.
backwards. And so then when they get to the PS1 ones, they're like, oh, this is weird because it's different from the others. You get to be like, oh my God, they fixed the thing that was wrong with 2 in this one. You get to move forward like you were a freak in the 90s that actually played these games on the PS1.
I'm excited. It'll be fun, especially because when I say I briefly played 3 previously, I was literally playing it like I would play a visual novel in which I was only caring about certain characters I wanted to learn more about, and I didn't engage with the gameplay at all, basically, and I didn't
Mhm.
engage with the story. So I might as well have not played it at all.
Basically. But yeah, I'm excited for you to play it because I downloaded the Fem main character mod for you, and I want to know did they just let the main character be a lesbian, or did they try and put Persona 3 Portable into Persona 3 Reload? I don't know how far the mod goes, but uh, I'm here for it either way, and I'm excited for you to report back.
I am excited to find out myself. I hope it's the lesbian option because I'd love to. I mean, listen, you all know what I'm about.
your
I don't.
biography RPG is super lesbian animal RPG. So,
Yeah, listen, I. It's Pride Month, bitch.
but yeah, if you would like to play along with us for Persona 3 Reload, it is still currently on Game Pass. So you can, I think that the first month is $1 if you want to do it that way, and you can play it on Game Pass on your computer or on your Xbox devices. If you don't want to play along with us, but you did like what you heard today and want to support us, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where any and all donations will help us cover the cost of running the show and making it better and better. If you set up a recurring monthly donation, you also get some additional benefits. If you donate $1 more a month, you get access to our bonus feed, where this week we continue playing Tales of Eternia and I forget if we're still in the backlog. I think we're still in the backlog. So the
Not in the backlog, in the buffer.
buffer, yes, not backlog. So I
And
think
we
we're
are in the buffer. We are doing so good, except doing good means you have no idea where we are in the game.
yes, because we record our main episodes live as they happen every week, but we build up a buffer of our backup so that we can take weeks off if we don't give a shit. And now I just have no idea. I know the episode we'll be recording tomorrow is when we have to do something very stupid that kind of rules, but I don't remember what we even did last week. Oh, we explored the disc 2. That's where we're at. Yeah. So this week we explored disc 2 of Tales of Eternia. That's what we're doing. But you also will get access to our polls to decide what game we play next on the main feed. As we just discussed, we will next be playing Persona 3, but after Persona 3, we have some cool shit happening. And I'm excited for y'all to experience it with us. If you want to donate $5 or more a month, we will also shout out your name at the end of every episode, just like this. Shouts to Cerebral Wind, It's Clear Time, Frost Terror, Dragon Slayer 19, Florus, Kildron, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and Jfro Prime. And then finally, if you love us so much that you want to donate $20 or more a month, you can also get me to say a sentence of your choosing, either to plug something or just to make me say some sort of shout out. So shoutouts to El Tantity, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. And shoutouts to Vimke, who wants you to play Legend of Legaia, a game that is liked by 96% of Google users. And then shoutouts to Carr, who's a dentist, so he isn't plugging a website, but rather your own mouth, and he says to brush your teeth twice a day. Most importantly, the time right before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.
Blow 'em up, Shaboomy.
Want to know something wild about Sticker Star?
Yeah.
The Wikipedia page for Sticker Star lists 11 composers.